As a family, we always would go to the beach, umbrellas flying down the beach, those stuffy little pop-up shelters that, you know, would inflate and then no one would sit in because they're too hot and stuffy, and then come the end of the day they're trying to fold it up and, you know, everyone's seen it. So I was sitting there and I just thought, I think I could maybe design something better. So I literally was sitting in a sand chair and I just smoothed out the sand and I was just drawing away, and I came up with something very simple. So I needed something to keep it up and something to keep it down. So I was like, how can I make that really easy? Let's just go with one pole up the middle and then the 4 sand anchors anchoring it down. So the key elements for me were, obviously it had to be, you know, a shelter that provided a lot of shade. You look at round umbrellas, it's like, well, that's kind of an odd shape, because to get 2 bodies in a round circle, they almost sort of got to hug around the pole. So it's like I've got to have a square shade where I can get 2 bodies stretched out or sitting up. Then it was all about making it easy. It had to be lightweight, had to be robust against the wind, and just simple to use. One of the delights that I have is when I go to the beach and I see a family roll down, and it's a family event. You know, mum or dad set up the main cabana and the children are all there, you know, filling the sand pockets, and they're all like, yay, well done, you know. I had a personal experience with melanoma. I've had 2 stage 2 melanomas. That was a big wake up to me. That's all because of, you know, my childhood in New Zealand. Growing up, my parents were naive to the whole melanoma, as everybody was in that generation. When people talked about skin cancer, I was quite naive. I just thought, oh, well, you know, if I get something on my skin and it grows into something which is quite big, I'll go along to the doctor and, you know, get it cut out, no big deal. A tiny little speck, a little thing within a mole, can be a melanoma. You talk about it, and so many of your friends or even other family members know someone, and it's scary.
95% of all skin cancers in Australia are directly related to UV exposure. And so working out some way to protect yourself from it is going to really minimise your skin cancer risk in the future. Shade helps with solving the issue for heat mitigation and for UV. And so what we need to do is just, I believe, you make it something that's just done and it's normalised and it's part of that culture, is good practice.
So I made a prototype, and it was super long when it was folded down. It was heavy, it had to go on the roof of the car. We would take it to the beach, perform well in the wind, a lot of shade, way too heavy, a lot of interest from people. So I got onto social media and started advertising, naive to it, had no idea. Well, those 300 sold out within days, and that cemented it. It's like, okay, there's demand out here. I'd go to Noosa pretty much every Christmas, and on Boxing Day we'd walk along and I'd count the number of CoolCabanas. The second year into it I counted 16. Next year it was 68. Year after that it was 190. So it was like, okay, this is good. People are getting the message about shade and the ease and simplicity of a CoolCabana, and ever since then you just can't count them. With CoolCabanas been in the market now for basically 8 years, 7 years, where I see myself slotting in as I've come in with a design-led solution to say, okay, people need shade, how can we make that, and how can we make that cool? And I think that's what CoolCabanas have done, providing a shelter that people can use anywhere. It's easy to set up, provides a lot of shade. The change of the beachscape, you know, from what it was to what it is now, I think it's a clear indication that people recognise the value of shade. We've made it easy for them to get the shade. The more shade, the more protection and less melanomas. Life's a long term, you only got one body, so look after it.